everyone, my name is Zulie Rain. I'm a product marketer here at Medium, and today I'm going to walk you through how, why, and when not to use story embeds in your Medium story. So first of all, what is an embed? It's anything in your story that is not the text. It's an element that you've introduced in your story. So it can be a link. Here's just one example. It can also be a chart, it can be an equation, it can be a GIF. There are a lot of different types of embeds that you can use on Medium. Why use them? The TLDR is that there are two reasons. It can make your story look more beautiful, a little bit more visually appealing, just break up the text, and embeds can also be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more engaging. Sometimes this kind of card is more clickable than just a hyperlink or just even a pasted URL. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start with the how. How to embed links and other assets on Medium. The short version is that you can take any link and just paste it into your Medium story, just like this. And when you hit enter, it will automatically format into that embed. Every single link can be turned into a card, which is what we call these little rectangular boxes. These will be clickable and open up into a new tab for the reader. There are also a couple of other kinds of embeds. So like I mentioned, you can have an equation. So here's a very basic example. You hit publish. I'm publishing this amazing, insightful equation. I'm going to my Medium story and I paste the link, exactly the same process, and I hit enter. This one auto formats into this really nifty little embedded equation, which is really fun. You can also embed charts. So here's just one example. Let's do National Donut Day faves. Why not? I want this in a bar chart, and let's see what that looks like. Beautiful. Can share this, copy that link, and again, same exact process. Remember that on your draft, these will not look interactable, but when you publish them, they will be more interactive for your readers. I'll post a link in the video description to give you a more complete list of the kinds of embeds that you can use on Medium. One quick heads up that I want to give you, the cards are editable. So for example, some websites don't provide the metadata to fill these out to be useful or provide useful information for readers. So you do have the ability to edit these. This is a bad example because this is deceitful to my readers. But just to show you the kind of editing that you can do, every aspect of this is editable. Now into the why. Why embed links? As I mentioned at the start of the video, embedding links is a really fun and nice way to break up the text of your story. So for example, instead of hyperlinking to a story, you might say, hey, check out this story that I loved. The tourist traps in my city. Great. This looks a little nicer, and again, it can break up that text in your story. The other example is that some of these types of embeds are interactive, so especially for data viz. Let me show you an example of an interactive chart, so what it looks like when the story is published. Here you can see that you can, as a reader, you can mouse over this. In some of these charts, you can actually filter, so this is going to be much better than just a static image. Now you might be wondering, I'm talking about a big embedding game. Is there ever a moment when it doesn't make sense to use embeds? And the answer is yes, of course there is. And when you're deciding whether or not to include embeds in your story, it comes down to one crucial question. Would the reader appreciate this embed? Does it give the reader a more rich, meaningful experience? Does it help them understand, enjoy your story better than if the embed wasn't there? So in this example, this is so clear. This data is helpful to me as a reader. It gives me extra context. It lets me understand the story better. In this story, at the very bottom, the writer recommends a couple other stories that are related that interested readers might appreciate being pointed to. This is a great use of embeds. Now, obviously, if you have a story that is 95% GIF, 5% writing, and it's not a story that needs to have that many GIFs, your writer might be like, well, this isn't really what I want. Or if you have a couple hundred words of your story and then you spam the bottom with like, hey, check out these 27 zillion other stories that I've written, that's also not going to be a great reader experience. So if you're wondering when to use embeds, when to use hyperlinks, when to not do anything extra and just let the text speak for itself, think about what your reader would most appreciate and find valuable. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have been using embeds in your stories, please let me know in the comments. I would love to check them out. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!